for the Canterbury A&P this year.
Yes, it is going to be a royal event, a royal equestrian event. We, for the first time in 153 years, we have the first female president of the Canterbury A&P Association, Nikki Hutchinson. Nikki has been a very loyal servant and a member of the show for, I would suggest, more than 30 years, and for the last 10 has been leading the equestrian section as their chairman. And so as Nikki steps into presidency and given her work around equestrian, it seemed right that the royal status be bestowed upon the equestrian event for the 2015 show.
This is different to being a royal show across the board. This is an event.
That is correct. It's very specific for that equestrian section, which of course is our biggest section. You're talking probably the second largest equestrian event in New Zealand, operating inside what is probably the most complicated event in New Zealand.
Yes, that's a fair comment.
Yeah, and certainly one of the largest. And so in 2014, we grew this, what was then a 152-year-old equestrian event by 10% without the royal status. And so this year, on top of that growth, we're going to expect more growth. So we're building more yards to house more horses. We've got pretty exciting expectations about it.
Because for it to be a royal event, that means there's a lot more prestige. So people will be coming to win a rosette.
That's correct. They want to win a royal ribbon. I guess there's always been a competition, really, a royal ribbon or a Canterbury A&P show ribbon. The two things are sought after, but when they're together, it's a special thing.
So 10% growth last year.
Correct.
You're
yep.
expecting it
right up to record numbers, and I expect it to be a record number this year.
Good on you.
Yep.
Now, you've done all the hard work for this coming one in November for Show Week, and I love the fact that everyone else says it's Show Week.
Yeah, so we've done a lot of hard work. We haven't done all the hard work. What we've done up until this point is we've basically filled the site with all their trade sites. So, we've 500 plus of them. We're going to transact millions of dollars. It's an extremely important part of the Canterbury economy. We've got all our sponsorships organised, and we have brought together all of our people, especially within the rural community, our volunteers, to create our schedule of classes, which are all the competitions that you can enter, whether you've got chickens, llamas, cattle, sheep, dogs, anything, right? Yeah. When I say dogs, of course, I mean wild dogs.
Dogs, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So that hard work is done. That's been published, and if anybody wants a copy of that scheduled classes, it's 120 pages long. You just call our office and go to www.theshow.
The show?
We'll just fire it out to you. So we'll send out 3,500 of those documents, like a book. And from that, all of the entries will come back in, and we'll know how exciting the showing and the competition aspect of the show is going to be.
So obviously, I said all the hard work's done, but it's just about to begin, really, isn't it?
Yeah, so yesterday was officially 100 days till show. So there's kind of two numbers, right? Now it's 99 days until show, and for me it's 102 days until it's finished. So
you have a gin and tonic at the end of that.
Yeah. So the next 99 days, you start to the volume of work just snowballs. The phone doesn't stop, and you operate at the whole team operates at an extremely high level. The kind of thing where you come out the other end of it going, oh well, if I operated at that higher level all the time, imagine what we could do.
So your volunteers, I mean that is just so important.
Oh, it's extraordinarily important. When you've got 1,000 sheep, 1,000 horses, 600 head of cattle and sheep and trial dogs and all of those things on site, you've got to find somewhere firstly you've got to logistically get them in there. You've got to find somewhere for them to live for 3 days. You've got to feed them, and then you've got to manage the movement of those thousands of animals out into the arenas or out into the rings to be judged, to be then presented with their awards. And so if I was to write job descriptions for everybody that had to go and do all that stuff, it's impossible. And it would be impossible to put a layer of management over them to tell them all what to do. You just need people that know what they're doing to turn up and do it. It's pretty old school, but that's where the magic happens with this show, because those people coming back, some of them have been there 10, 20, 30 years. They know more than I do.
And always will do.
Yeah.
I mean, interesting if you look at how progressive, I mean, you look at something like the cattle section.
Yes.
And the beef cattle, and there'll be a chap who's in charge of that, then he'll quietly hand over to the next guy, who'll handle over to the next guy. And I've been going for now for about nearly 30 years, covering it as a show. And it's just amazing how it all sort of just happens.
Yeah. Some of it just happens, and some of it's a lot of planning that goes into it happening. The equestrian section
it is seen to just happen.
Well, it's seen to, yeah. In the equestrian section, you have 4 different arenas, and they've all got different ringmasters and different people in charge of them. And within their committee, you've got the chairman and then you've got sub-chairmen who sit over different areas like showing and dressage and show jumping, and you've got the ringmaster, and all of those people, and there is a lot of them, have very specific jobs. They work really hard and they know what they're doing. They teach each other what to do each year in, year out. Just someone as simple as marshalling horses into the main arena. It's an extraordinarily challenging job. You're telling horses to stop and start. There's health and safety issues.
You've got crowds getting through the same area that the horses
timing issues, and so you just take a big deep breath and you rely on your people. And I'm lucky I can rely on them. They're an amazing group of volunteers.
But isn't it fabulous? 153 years and the protocols are still the same. You don't go into the ring without a hat on, for example.
No, and
but it's lovely. It's terribly British traditional protocol.
Absolutely, and as I said, the President, Nicky, would ensure protocol exists forever, and I think that tradition will continue.
We've covered the sort of the farming side, but the entertainment side, when do you move on that?
We already have. So last year we brought in Salmonella Dub, which was a big step up for a band on our main stage, and this year we're taking another step up again. I'm going to tease you, I'm not going to tell you what it is.
No, that's all right, you can tease away.
The 1st of September we are going to announce that. We've also redeveloped our children's lawn, and we've got an amazing set of acts. It'll be
Where's
the best
the
we've ever done.
children's
Well,
lawn?
it's near the village green. It's actually next to the village green, but it's tucked away back, and it's got its own stage, its own sound systems. It's got blow-up things to jump on for kids to jump around on. There'll be a lot of free activities in there, a lot of free activities. And then, of course, we've got the wood chopping area where we're going to double the size of the seating so that it's more accessible. And we're going to double the size of the city farmyard where kids can come and pet the animals. And so this year, our biggest investment is purely in when you come in through the gate, your ticket price doesn't change from 2014. It's the same as it was, but the value you're getting internally is going to be that much greater.
Geoff, how do you keep the balance between it being a rural event and an entertainment for the city folk?
You start with the animals. You make sure your budgets and your investment is looking after your people that bring the animals, looking after that community of people, being transparent with them about what's going on and making sure that they've got an opportunity to feed back, and then working with the trade exhibitors who bring the large format tractors and all of those big machinery that make it feel like an agricultural show. And you put them foremost in your mind when you're laying out the site and when you're pricing things and when you're doing your marketing and advertising. And then everything else flows from that, because let's face it, I've got 2 kids, right, 2 and 5. Why would I bring them to the show if there were no animals? There'd be no point. So ultimately, although I'll have big acts on the stage and all these different flash things going on, I think Mum and Dad actually just want little Jimmy to pick up a lamb and watch, or little Jane to watch some horses jump over some jumps.
But I love your enthusiasm. I mean, you're absolutely alive with energy. You must love it.
Yeah, well, I've got a 5-year-old boy who keeps making sure that he's come to the show. Dad, it better be good.
No pressure on Dad.
No pressure on Dad, no.
All the best for it. It's obviously show week, which is the second week in November.
That's correct, yeah, 11, 12 and 13 of November.
Brilliant, Geoff. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.